Greetings fellow tank commanders. In this video I'm going to be showing you a game that I played in the Gorynych KV-5. This is a tier 8 Soviet premium heavy tank with preferential matchmaking to only see up to tier 9 games. The game I'm playing is a standard battle on El Haluf War, with tier 8 as the top tier and 2 artillery on each team. For this game I am platooned up with Cowboy Arizona, who is in a KV-5. There is no difference between these two tanks except for their appearance. The enemy also has a KV-5 platoon and another platoon of an IS-6 and KV-5. This game is mostly made up of Soviet tanks, since the Defender of the Fatherland op is going on at the moment. I'm going to the corner in A0, that way we get in close proximity to the enemy to compensate for the KV-5's subpar gun accuracy. I'm quite excited to be doing a platoon in the KV-5. One of these tanks on its own is devastating enough, but two working in coordination is just downright frightening. The enemy KV-5s came to this location as well, so we're going to have a pretty big brawl on our hands. My platoon mate and I are taking up a defensive position. Our formation is slightly staggered. This is a good idea to do when you're platooning with 2 or more KV-5s. Since the KV-5 can be easily swarmed. The loss of our KV-85 in Motherland so early in the game puts us at a slight disadvantage, but we still have an acceptable force holding this corner, and my teammates are fighting hard on the left side of this rock formation. You'll see here that I'm trying to bait as many shots as possible into my side armor. It definitely works to block the enemy's first few shots. Now you get to see the benefit of the staggered formation and having a KV-5 platoon mate. One of the KV-5s is charged and I am easily able to coordinate with my platoon mate to prioritize him. I don't turn to deal with him myself, since his goal was probably to cause a distraction, which if I had fell for would have allowed the enemies to get some easy shots in on me. Now I've lost a lot of my hit points, so I have coordinated with my platoon mate to try to draw some of the enemy's fire away from me. Dividing up the enemy's damage is incredibly useful when using a KV-5 platoon. Since you each have 1,780 hit points, it can take a while to wear both of you down, especially if you side scrape like we have in this game to make some of those shots bounce. My other teammates have done a really good job just to the left of me, and now we have been able to surround the enemy, which is making the rest of this flank really easy to clean up. This corner has been effectively turned into a massive graveyard. It has 3 enemy KV-5s, an IS-6, and an IS, while also having our own Motherland and KV-85, all destroyed during that massive brawl. Being defensive on that corner gave us a great advantage over the enemy because we also got support from our artillery early on. My equipment loadout of having the vertical stabilizer helps me with shots like this on the move, which is very useful for the active and aggressive playstyle I like to use for the KV-5. I also have a super heavy spall liner, which I definitely recommend since the KV-5 is an artillery magnet, and because one of the funnest things to do with the KV-5 is to ram enemies, and the spall liner really does enhance your ramming potential with the KV-5. I bump into that destroyed tank, which greatly reduces my speed for the ram. But even with this very short charge, I am able to do 385 damage to the enemy. That's as much as a whole shot for the KV-5. And I only did 28 damage to myself with the ram. And that wraps up the excitement for this game. Unfortunately, my platoon mate and I are unable to get any more damage on these remaining tanks. You can see Cowboy Arizona has taken a lot of damage just like me. We pushed our hit point pools to the max this game, dividing the enemy's damage well between us, which kept us alive for the whole game and allowed us to make a big impact. The time between the first shot I took in this game and the last was under 3 minutes. I managed to get 18 damage hits during this time because I stuck myself out there and took full advantage of the KV-5's damage potential. My teammates took great advantage of our KV-5's positioning to soak up the enemy fire. Unfortunately, you don't see in a lot of games teammates taking full advantage of the distractions which KV-5s provide. These tanks have great potential even when they're not doing damage themselves, so when you see a KV-5 a little farther forward from your other tanks, make sure you take full advantage of it. Now let's check the post-game stats and see how I did. For this game, I earned 131,000 silver, with 10,000 being from the Iron Will op, and a 25% multiplier from the Dishing Out Damage op. Keep in mind that I didn't use any of my larger kits during this game, but I did use 19 APCR shells. I earned 4,262 experience, with a 50% multiplier from the Defend the Fatherland drop. In under 3 minutes of fighting, I managed to deal 5,018 damage, assisted with 122 damage, and destroyed 3 enemies while blocking 2,500 damage. This earned me high caliber, steel wall, and unfortunately only a mastery badge first class. Overall though, I am very happy with the impact my platoon was able to make in such a short time. I placed at the top of my team, earning a base XP of 1,776. I was hoping to get a higher base XP for dealing 5,000 damage, but oh well. My platoon mate Cowboy Arizona also had a very good game, dealing 2,478 damage in that very short time. As a platoon, we did just shy of 7,500 damage, and we were the top 2 damage dealers in the game. I managed to hit all 19 of my shots, and got 17 damage hits from those and an additional 1 from ramming. I am very disappointed to report that despite this epic game, I only managed to damage the engine in the motherland. I didn't do any other crew or module damage to the enemy. Well, that's all for this game. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the awesome potential that the KV-5 has, especially when it's in a platoon. The KV-5 can both deal and block a lot of damage, and with a coordinated platoon of 2 or more KV-5s, your impact on the game can be monstrous. Gosh, I love my KV-5. Stay tuned for more awesome World of Tanks videos.